we can observe certain trends in the periodic table due to the recurring properties of the elements. And one of those is the ionization energy. So as we know, the periods represent the increasing energy levels. And if we look at energy level 2 and lithium, for example, and moving from left to right of the periodic table, we can see that the number of protons increase between the elements, and so do the number of neutrons. And given these are neutral atoms, you're going to get an increase in the number of electrons as well. Now, given that the number of shielding electrons does not increase, according to our simplified model of the effective nuclear charge, where the shielding electrons are the core electrons, then a nucleus is going to exert a larger force on the valence electrons, and therefore those electrons are going to be more difficult to ionize. So the ionization energy increases. Now if we move down the periodic table, we're adding extra shells to the atom as the energy levels are increasing. And while there were protons being added to the nucleus, there's an equal number of electrons that are being added to the atom, and these effectively shield the nucleus and nullify its effective charge. So therefore, given the valence electron at the higher energy level is further from the nucleus and shielded, then the ionization energy is going to decrease as we move down the periodic table. We know that electrons orbit the nucleus of an atom in a cloud in different shaped orbitals, but using the Bohr model, we can visualize the atomic radius as the average distance of the valence electron from the nucleus. Now if we look at energy level 2 of the periodic table for a simplified example, then as we move from left to right of the periodic table, we're effectively adding protons and neutrons to the atom. And for neutral atoms, we're adding an equal number of electrons. So using the effective nuclear charge, when we take the shielding electrons as the core electrons in our simplified model, then we're not adding any more core electrons, and therefore the effective nuclear charge is increasing because the number of protons is increasing. And consequently, the atomic radius is going to decrease. Now if we move down the periodic table, we're adding an additional shell, and consequently the atomic radius is going to increase, given that the average distance of a valence electron from the nucleus is going to be larger. The periodic trend for ionic radius is similar to that of the atomic radius. So moving from left to right, the ionic radius is going to decrease because protons will be added to the nucleus of the ion and the valence electrons will be added to the same shell. So think about this. And as we move down the periodic table towards increasing energy levels, we're going to be adding shells to one ion, and therefore the ionic radius will increase. Now one thing to note is that if we ionize an atom, such as lithium, we get a positively charged ion, which is known as a cation, and we can see that the ionic radius of this lithium cation is going to be smaller than the atomic radius of the lithium atom, because you either lose a shell where the electrons orbit closer to the nucleus, or you lose an electron which reduces repulsion and pulls the electrons closer to the nucleus. Now in contrast, if an electron gets attached to this fluorine atom, then we get a negatively charged fluorine ion, or an anion. So due to the additional repulsion provided by that extra valence electron, the ionic radius of the fluorine anion is going to be greater than the atomic radius of the fluorine atom. So have a think about this. The electron affinity is the energy released when an electron is attached to an atom. So basically the atom becomes an anion. So recall that when an electron is attached to an atom, energy is released in the form of a photon. And we define the electron affinity as a negative of the energy released. So a positive value means that the atom has an affinity for an electron. So with helium, it has a full valence shell already, so therefore another shell needs to be added to attach an additional electron. And therefore energy must be added to the atom for this to occur. And therefore helium has no affinity for an electron. And if you follow similar logic for the atoms at energy level 2, you'll see that beryllium does not have an affinity for an electron, because the next electron would be added to the 2p subshell, and that requires energy. And using similar reasoning, nitrogen and neon also don't have an affinity for an electron. So you'll see a trend in the periodic table as you move from the left to the right of the p block in particular, where there's an increase in electron affinity. Electronegativity is the ability of an atom to attract an electron from another atom to form a chemical bond. So as we go from the lithium atom to fluorine, you get more protons in the nucleus and valence electrons added to the outer shell, so the shielding electrons do not change, and the effective nuclear charge increases. So therefore, as we move from the left to the right of the periodic table, the electronegativity of the atom increases. And as we move down the periodic table, so towards the increasing energy levels, additional shells get added to the atom, and therefore you have more shielding electrons that reduce the effective nuclear charge of the nucleus, and therefore its capability of attracting an electron from another atom. So therefore the electronegativity decreases as we move down the periodic table. The first ionization energy of neon is higher than that of magnesium, because the Coulomb force on a valence electron of magnesium is weaker. True or false? Well, as we know, neon is at energy level 2, and magnesium is at energy level 3 in the periodic table. So given that magnesium has an additional shell, and the Coulomb force is proportional to the charge of the nucleus by the charge of the electron on the squared distance from the valence electron to the nucleus, then we know that the Coulomb force on a valence electron of magnesium is weaker. So this is true. And consequently, it's more difficult to ionize a valence electron from neon as it is from magnesium. And generally, recall that when we move from the left to the right of the periodic table, the ionization energy increases because the effective nuclear charge increases. And as we move down the periodic table, due to the additional shell, the ionization energy decreases. An atom of chlorine has a larger radius than a chlorine anion because the effective nuclear charge of chlorine is higher. True or false? Well, an atom of chlorine with an additional electron is the chlorine anion. And because of this additional electron, the chlorine anion has additional repulsion and a larger radius than the chlorine atom. So this statement here is false in itself. And as we define the effective nuclear charge as the number of protons minus the shielding electrons, well, the number of protons is the same between a chlorine atom and the chlorine anion, and so are the number of shielding electrons. So draw the Bohr model for both of these and convince yourself that the effective nuclear charge does not change. So the correct answer is false. Let's arrange the following atoms in order of these increasing atomic properties. So we'll make a table of ionization energy, atomic radius, and electronegativity. Now chlorine's at energy level 3, and the rest of the elements are at energy level 2. So according to our periodic table trend, because chlorine has an additional shell, then it's going to have the lowest ionization energy, and that's followed by nitrogen, oxygen, and fluorine, which have an increase in effective nuclear charge as we move to the right of the periodic table. Now fluorine is going to have the smallest atomic radius, because it's going to be the most effective in pulling those valence electrons towards the nucleus with a larger effective nuclear charge, and followed by these other atoms. Where chlorine has an additional shell and therefore a larger atomic radius. Now the electronegativity, which is the ability of the atom to attract an electron from another atom, increases as we move to the right of the periodic table and decreases as we move down the periodic table. So we have chlorine, nitrogen, oxygen, and fluorine. And this is the general answer by following the trends in the periodic table, although you'll find exceptions.